Hello and welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. This is our last card in this week's series of Stamp Set of the Week Hot Air Balloon. It's a scrap card. It's not actually a card that I'm going to scrap, but I'm actually going to use lots of tiny pieces of scrap that I've got hanging around. And do I bin them or do I keep them? This is the die set for you to do just that. Use the pieces of scrap and then get rid of whatever else is left. So let me bring in the supplies and we shall begin. So the first thing we've got is a piece of Night of Navy, and as usual that measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. I then have a layering piece which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Now you will notice that there is a couple of holes in the middle of this, and the reason being is I ran out of Night of Navy scrap, so I used the middle of my card base to cut out the bits I needed, and obviously it won't be seen because we will then put our piece in the middle. So this piece of Whisper White, basic white, is 3 inches by 4 1/2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my Coastal Cabana, and I have a blending brush, and I'm just going to blend just around the outside. Oh, that's it. Just going to blend right the Coastal Cabana around the outside to give it kind of a sky effect. So let's do that first. So circle motion with my little brush onto my paper, and then, or onto my scrap paper, and then I can work its way round my actual cardstock. Okay, pick it up. There we go. And then we can move it around. There we go, it's coming through. Now normally on these pieces I would have a matte layer underneath this piece of card base, but I'm actually going to do something slightly different for this occasion. Okay. If you saw my video on Wednesday, you will know that I predicted that we would use every piece of die that comes with the kit. We almost do. There are 3 pieces of dies that I don't use, and that is 2 of the little seats and some bunting, but everything else gets used today. So I've got the Night of Navy, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dip, not tip, but dip the edge in, like so. And I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to do it on all 4 edges. Okay, and that gives my white card a bit of dimension without adding dimensions. And then I can layer on the top like so, and it works like that. Now obviously you're not going to see it. You might see it in the camera, but it just gives that little bit of takes off the harshness of the white, should I say, rather than adding the paper layer like normal. Okay, so the thing to do now is to work on our balloons. So I'm going to stamp up 2 balloons on here. First one I'm going to do is the smaller of the 2 balloons that you actually stamp. So there are actually 3 balloons in total, one of which is just dies that cut out to give you a balloon effect, whereas you've actually got 2. This one makes up 1, and then you've got a very large one that makes up the larger balloon. So the first one we're going to do is this smaller of the 2, and I'm going to take my Coastal Cabana and I'm going to stamp that in the ink and press down. Okay, oh, I've got a bit of a smudge there. Then I'm going to take the Night of Navy and do exactly the same, ink up the other side. So this is almost the inner side and this is the outer of the balloon. And before I stamp it, I'm just going to put on my glasses. Right, bear with me. It's good you can't see me. I've got one pair of glasses on top of my head and one pair of glasses actually on my eyeballs. Right. And see if it makes a difference. There we go. We have perfection. Right, I'm going to turn it round. And we're going to do the larger of the two balloons now. And this one we are going to stamp up in the Coastal Cabana. And I won't need my glasses for that bit, as it's just the one stamp. So I'm going to take the ink to the stamp rather than the other way round, ink it up, and then we can put it down. Hold it down tight, and there we have our second hot air balloon. So apart from the sentiment, that is the last of the stamping. So I have already pre-cut those. I'm just going to get rid of this piece of grid paper so it's a little easier on the eye. So here are our two balloons. Now let's bring in all the scraps that we need. So as I said, that die is for this. Bring that down so you can actually see it. So this die is for that balloon. Then I have got this die where it cuts this balloon out. That's the two of those. Then we have our third die and fourth. So this is a heart-shaped balloon and a layering over the top. So I took a piece of scrap designer series paper. So you'll notice that this is the paper that I used on Wednesday. So I had a scrap left over. So I've cut out a full cut of that. And then I've used the Coastal Cabana to cut out the layer that goes on top of there, like that. So there are our three balloons. Then let's put a border onto this one. Now this I've used a bit more scrap of the designer series paper, and that will go onto there like so. So that is that tiny piece. Then I've got a scalloped edge. Now this die cuts out two scalloped edges, a thinner and a thicker one. So the thinner of the two will go up here, and that will be in, she says, this colour. So the Coastal Cabana again, so that will go up there. And then I have used my die here for the chair, and that's cut me out a piece of Night of Navy, which will go onto there. So that's the first balloon. So on this balloon I have used where is it? Here it comes. So this die, so it's come out of this. So this will go across there like so. Comes further down. There we go. Then I ran this through again and got this darker piece in the Night of Navy, and that will layer up onto there. Then with this one I have used the thicker, so you've got these two. So this is the one we used on Wednesday for the sentiment. I've cut that out in Night of Navy, so I will layer that onto there in a moment. Then I've got this very detailed piece which I've cut out in Whisper White, and again all of these pieces are scrap. Then in a piece of Night of Navy you've got the rigging for the big air balloon, so I've cut that out in Night of Navy, and I've cut a Coastal Cabana chair for that one, and which I haven't used in the previous card, but I thought I'd give it a go just in case. I've cut myself out some clouds just to see if they work. So as I say, I have used, so there's 4 pieces. I didn't use the sentiment banner. So there are 4 pieces of the whole die set that I have not used, but otherwise every other piece has been used. So let's put those somewhere safe, so I don't want to be losing any of those. And we can start attaching. So I'm going to use all the glue to attach all of these. I could have used my sticky adhesive paper, but I decided it would probably be easier just on this occasion to add dots of glue to my paper. Right, so that will layer over there. It does not go on the outside, it is in the inside, so you will get like an edging on your balloon, so don't panic. So that's that one. Then we can, I seem to be getting a cold, not a good sign. Hopefully that will be gone by the end of the weekend. Of course it's our bank holiday weekend, so we will be busy bees, I am sure. Are you doing anything for the bank holiday? We are popping up to see my mum on bank holiday Monday, but we've got a few other family commitments during the rest of the week. There we go. That will now go on the top like so. For some reason my computer seems to have gone off. So there's that one, and that will have a balloon attached to it. So we'll do the same for this. So the thicker of the two, again just a bit of glue, and that will be added. So what you'll find is it should touch each side of the balloon. Okay, so then you know where the positioning is, and then this bit goes over top. Little dots. Okay, and that goes over the top of here. And then I will add my basket afterwards. So this bit, we will put the Night of Navy onto here, like so. Then our pretty pattern. So I'm going to, she says, maybe I should have put the adhesive glue on here, but we'll do this one instead. Just hope that it sticks okay and I don't have an excess of glue coming over the edges, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Right, so let's stick that down. And I'm just going to smooth that over the edges like there, and there we are. And then last but by no means least, the rigging for the bigger balloon. I'm just going to align across here, a tiny bit there, and then I'm just going to put a few dabs on the thin bits here. Really not going to squeeze the bottle, but just rub the edge along the glue that's already out and then brush it down the spokes. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to my balloon, not all the way up the top, because obviously I want my basket to hang down. There we go. So we now have got all our balloons created. We can bring in our card. So the first thing we want to do is attach this to that layer. So let's just add our glue. There we are. It is going to poke through there, but I'm going to pick it up pretty quickly because what I want to do is add that then onto my card base. Okay, so if I hold it up, you can just about see the shadow maybe underneath. I'm going to fold this in half. And burnish with my bone folder, she says. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to add that onto here. And the reason I'm doing it this way around, which I don't normally do, is because I actually want to measure out how far I'm going with the balloons, rather than just guess. Right. Now the only thing I haven't done is added a sentiment, so we're going to be brave, and I'm going to put it down the bottom here using the small happy birthday, and I'm going to stamp it in Night of Navy. Fingers crossed, because if I muck it up, it will be a raised sentiment. So deep breaths, and pop. Phew, that worked. Okay, so sentiment is now in place. We can start putting our balloons down. So this one I'm actually going to glue down. Then I'm going to bring this one over and I'm going to put it up on dimensionals. That will work there. And then this one over here will pump on dimensionals again, and the balloon, the basket will go like so. Now before I used the bling on this one, but I was wondering whether or not we should use the balloons. So let's the clouds. So let's have a look. We could have a cloud there. It'll have to be threes because I don't like working in evens. So, and I prefer to work in almost like a triangle format, because it works better on the eyes really. That could be there, and then my tiny one could, I suppose, go there. Okay, yep, I'm happy with that. So we are going to go with the clouds. Let's see if when I come to put it together, the clouds go exactly where I thought they were going to go. Right, so the first one we're going to do, we're going to glue down. So I'm going to put all my glue just on the back of the balloon rather than the balloon and the basket, because the basket is once again a little bit more fiddlier. So that will stick down quite nicely there. I'm then going to bring in my dimensionals for this balloon. Pop those in the back. As you can see, I tried stamping out that balloon first of all. Good job our white paper has two sides, isn't it? Right, so there is our second balloon. That is going to get off, overlap our larger of the two balloons, get off, and I'm going to put it right about there. That should give me enough space for my Coastal Cabana chair basket, which it does, and I'm going to add another dimensional on there. So I'm just going to use the tiny bits of cuts off, pop it there, take the back off, oops, stick it down properly maybe, always a good thing. I'm definitely going to have to use my pointy tool for this bit. Come on, there we go. And then we can put that in place just there. Right, so the last one to do is to add our Designer Series paper one. Again, this is going up on dimensionals. So we're going to one in the base, at the top Okay, don't think I need to add a third one onto that, so that will be there. And that will go there. We can add our chair with a tiny piece of dimensional in there, and then we can make sure that fits there. Look at that, perfect. And now our clouds. So the first one we were going to have was here. So I'm going to put a dimensional here on this end part. So let's see. None of these are cut. So let's see how that bit is. So I'm going to turn it round. Yep, so it's definitely that piece. I'm going to turn that round, and then I'm just going to tap a bit of glue on that section there. Take the backing off. Then the cloud is at the same height as the balloon, and I don't need to cause any issues. So that's going to go in there. Make sure I'm happy with it. There we are. And so that sticks onto there. Now these ones can be laid flat. Do I lay them flat, she says, or do I raise them? I think I'm going to lay them flat. There we are. So the question now is, does the card look better with the clouds or with the bling? Or is it a case of that with the bling it's slightly more feminine, and with the clouds it's slightly more masculine? Or of course it could just be your preferential choice. So there we are, having used almost every single die in the packet, we have now come together with our final card for this week. So I hope you like that. I'm loving the colours on that one. It obviously is, it looks totally different, doesn't it? It's amazing how colour changes the perspective of the cards. Not quite sure which one I prefer, and I can't decide whether I like the bling or the clouds. Anyway, I shall leave myself to ponder on that. If you want to give your choice, please pop a comment on the bottom. Whatever you do for the rest of the day, have a lovely day. Thoroughly enjoy your bank holiday weekend, and I hope to catch up with you next week. So whatever you do today, as I say, stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.